Yeah, what's up, people? Welcome back to the show. 12th man's back. The Arsenal roundabout is back. And do you know what is mad? Um, I've got an elite panel tonight, and I don't even know where to start. There's so much to talk about. There's so much for us to get into. And what I've got is a group of people that have a difference of opinions. So, look, I'm not going to introduce everybody. We all know who they are. We got Igal, we got Kenny Ken, we got Northside, we got Brandon, and of course, hosted by myself. While I changed the background, because I'm still on the old background, Igal, let me come to you because I spoke to you, was it today? And you were like, I'm cool. There's not much wrong with this. I don't think there's much to worry about. We're all good. I just think people need to stop panicking. So I'm going to get everyone's opinions on where they're at right now. And then I'm going to ask questions about going into this weekend about injuries and squad depth concerns that I have. See if you agree. And I want to talk a little bit about where people's fingers are pointing right now, if there are concerns. Does it need to get to this crisis point? We've got injury pluses from what we hear. Saka and Timber might be okay for the weekend. So we'll definitely be touching on that as well. But Igal, how are you feeling as an Arsenal fan right now after the Bournemouth defeat and the performances that we've seen, like last night, that weren't much to write home about, bruv? How are you feeling?
I'm calm, bro. I'm calm. I'm calm. I just understand. I understand the program in the sense that Bukayo Saka's out, Odegaard's out. We've had some shaky performances, and it's gonna come as you're trying to figure out how you're gonna play without two staples that have been in the side for a majority of the years. And when we didn't have Odegaard, we did a really good job still going out and getting a win versus Tottenham, a draw versus Man City, continuing to show performances even in the Champions League versus PSG, and we continue to ride it out. Now that we have a little bit of a hiccup, it just, to me, it's crazy how the same people who are saying expectations are to win the league, I demand this, I demand that, the moment we have a little hiccup, throw their toys out the pram and go super crazy. Now, I'm not specifically saying anyone on this panel, but you guys have all seen people turn on a dime from I'm backing everything, I believe in everything, to one, two bad performances. This team is not good enough. We're shit. We're gone backwards. That's just ridiculous. We've faced 3 red cards this season. If you want to say at our fault or you want to say the referees being harsh, either way, the fact of the matter is nobody has even faced 60 minutes with a red card, let alone 163 like we have. So of course you're going to see mixed performances in those situations. Also, tough schedule to start the season, going away to Man City, going away to Spurs, going away to Aston Villa. I'm not expecting us to go to those grounds and slap 3, 4, 5 past them. I just understand that with injuries, with the fixtures that we've had, and with the red cards and the circumstances that we've had some shaky performances to start the season. And with all that being said, it's not like we're 7, 8, 10 points off the top of the table. We're literally right there. If we beat Liverpool this weekend, I think that puts all the conversation to bed. And knowing Arsenal Football Club, we play down to our opponents sometimes, like we did against Shakhtar yesterday. And we play up to our opponents when we were terrible, even playing, having close games with some of the best teams in the league in the past. So I do expect these players to be up for it versus Liverpool, and I do expect a different performance from this team versus Liverpool. I just think people need to have a level head and understand it's a long season. And if Man City were going through a similar rough patch like we would they lose their head? No, because their fans would have the belief in their team and their manager as they've won it over the past years. I think the fact that we haven't delivered is the reason why a lot of people are quick to turn on the club. Somewhat understandable, but I'm calm, and that's why I'm calm. And hopefully, people understand that.
Okay, well, look, before I come to Kenny and Brandon on this, I want to flip it to Northside because I feel like me and Northside have always said to people that the squad depth is still an issue. I know Kenny and Brandon have been there as well, but I feel like me and Northside, particularly on this show, have felt a lot of heat about, oh my God, these two are so negative. They need to just calm down. But every single season, we keep saying, kind of told you so. And I kind of feel, bro, and I come to you with this, Northside, that at the moment, it's kind of starting to come to fruition again. Now, I know that we won last night, but it weren't pretty. And the Bournemouth thing at the moment is still in my head. The injuries that we've got, it's fine to say we're unlucky. And I would actually agree with that. We have been unlucky with injuries, but it's part of the game. We're supposed to be able to have adequate cover for every single position. So this was why when that window shut and everyone went, Dan's a bit negative, it's because I didn't think we did enough in certain areas. I really didn't believe that. And now I believe it's coming to fruition. But look, Igal said there, let's not panic. I think things will stop if we beat Liverpool. Manchester City don't panic. Why should we? Well, Manchester City, quite rightly, as Gal said, they've done it. They've been there. They've got a better squad than us. They've got a better manager than us. I don't really care how Man City would react because they're in different circumstances. Where are you at with all of this, bro? And what do you make of what Gal said and offside?
I think, as Igal said, he said he wasn't talking about anyone here. I think we came into Igal's already known my thoughts and known your thoughts. We've called this way before the season started. We called this even last year. And we said, what happens if Odegaard gets injured? What happens if Saka gets injured? What happens if Havertz doesn't start? Yeah, and we've heard the manager say he's been playing with a knock, but we've been managing it. That's Arteta's words. We said that defensively we got good rotation, but defense wasn't our weakness. We wanted to strengthen our midfield and our attack, and this is exactly why. The other day we played 3 DMs in midfield. You can't tell me that's because we got good rotation. That's complete naivety from the manager. To play a DM in Mikel Moreno in a number 10 when he has none of those attributes just shows it's a lack of planning. This manager has to justify his decisions. Why keep Ethan if you're not going to use him? He played well against Bolton. We wanted him to kick on. Yeah, I wouldn't grill Ethan if he doesn't have a good game because he shouldn't be number 2 to Odegaard in the first place. We should have went and got Dani Olmo. And this is the problem. A lot of times, this fan base like to talk a lot about this, how great our rotation is, and they can do a job. Well, guess what? Look at this. It's not very convincing, is it? Because it's all great talking about rotation when you don't have to use them. As soon as we have to use them, people keep talking about we have players out. Why are you talking about the players that we have out if the rotation is as good as you tell us they are? When we're saying Sterling is nowhere near the level of Saka, which is why we didn't want him, this is why. We wanted the rotation that we had with Trossard and Martinelli. That's a closer comparison in terms of quality, in terms of breaking into the teams. Sterling ain't breaking into this team. And nor is he giving the manager any reason to break into this team. Jesus, how many chances did he have against Shakhtar Donetsk? That's got nothing to do with Odegaard being out. How many chances? That's the quality of that individual player. He's not a gunman. He's not good enough. Missing chance after chance. Havertz, they told us that we wait till Havertz, he's en route to scoring 20 goals a season. He's been playing a striker the whole up until this point. We needed him to score a goal against Brighton. We need him to score a goal against Atlanta. We need him to score a goal against Bournemouth. We need him to score a goal against Shakhtar to make the game more secure because it was squeaky bum time at the end of the game. This guy, once again, his strongest attribute isn't scoring goals. This is the problem. And to be honest, it's coming a lot earlier than I thought it would. But we've been saying this will be a problem. Why are we playing Trossard in the 10 or Moreno in the 10 if he decided to keep Ethan as the second backup? It doesn't look convincing. We're struggling to make chances. We're struggling to counter and create chances out from the back. We've been saying it. Defensively, yes, we've got options. But you don't just build a squad and a bench solely off of defensive rotation. The midfield isn't good enough. People told us Mikel Moreno was going to unlock Martinelli. I didn't see unlocking anyone. I didn't see him creating any opportunities for anyone. And it's not because we want to be right. We just say it as we see it. It's not good enough. And people want to talk about, oh, but we'll get away and we're still winning. Okay, cool. This problem will persist until we go out there and buy the players necessary. And the pressure is only going to amount when we get to the end of the season. These men are not performing now, and we're not even at the crunch end of the season. And they're already struggling. We're struggling against Shakhtar. Don't tell me that was a good performance because it wasn't a good performance. Bournemouth, if this bench is so great, how come none of our players off the bench affected the game? How come none of them have affected the game? None of them are giving us any reason to when Odegaard and Saka comes back to give the manager a headache to be in the starting lineup because they're not good enough. This narrative about players can do a job, yeah, that basically is a roundabout way of saying they can do a job if you only have to count on them for a couple of games. What if you have to count on them for a long time? Odegaard's got a long-term injury. Saka, we don't know. The manager hasn't been transparent. So when you have to keep relying on these players, you see their true level. And their true level is they're not good enough, which is exactly why they can't fight to get in the team. The only one that's been is Trossard. This bench is not good enough. We've got a bunch of kids and a bunch of defenders. It doesn't give the manager much option to play with. And this manager, I don't understand how anyone can sit there and defend this and playing Jesus on the wing when he couldn't even cross the ball. The bench is not as great as people are hyping it up to be. And when people are saying, oh yeah, but be positive when Odegaard and Saka come back, let's talk about facts right now. End of the season when we need to get over the line. Are these players clutch in the first place? We needed additions for a reason because we needed players that will be clutch. So even when they come back, we'll look a little bit more convincing. Crunch end of the season, name me a competition that Odegaard and Saka have turned up. Any to get us over the line and win anything. We needed additions, bro. And no matter how this fan base want to skate it, the reason you keep talking about the players that we miss is because you don't rate the players that are on the bench. And you only rate them when the starting 11 is fully back. You don't rely on these players and you don't believe in these players on the bench. And that's why we're in this situation.
No, I think there's a lot of facts that you've said there, but that is only my opinion backing it up. I'll come to Brandon next and I'll leave Kenny to last because I know Kenny definitely got some things to say on this. But Brandon, I mean, look, you and I share a lot of opinions, I think, similarly as well. Are you with it, Gal? Is it time to be concerned? Not time to be concerned, should I say? Or are you with Northside about our squad depth? And I wanted to touch as well on your thoughts on the scenario right now with the Ethan Wanyeri thing, because there's some people are saying it's cool, he's 17, let him like get into the side. But for me, I'm looking at the way he's being used. It's a little bit confusing, I would say. I don't think it's been disrespectful yet, but I think it's been a bit confusing from the manager, bro. So talk to me, man.
Yeah. Listen, Northside dropped the mic, bro, because I couldn't have said it any better myself, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what I'm tired of, Dan. I'm tired of hearing just be happy we won. That's what I'm tired of. You know, to justify these poor performances. At the end of the day, we've been saying for the last 2 years, just be happy we won the game. And look, at the end of both seasons, what have we ended up winning? Nothing, right? And this isn't like a new thing. This isn't like Arsenal all of a sudden playing this way because we haven't got Bukayo Saka and Odegaard. Because, I mean, yeah, you could probably throw in Odegaard because we've missed him for longer than what we have Saka. But when you look at Arsenal's games this season, this is the way that Arsenal have been playing. And I accepted it because we have had tough games. You know, we had to go to Aston Villa away, which isn't easy. We had to go to Spurs away, which is never easy. We had to go to City away, which is never easy. So it ultimately doesn't become necessarily about the performances, but more about the results. But when you're playing against teams that you're expected to beat, I expect to see performances as well. You know, I expected Arsenal to put in a better performance than what they did against Southampton. I expected Arsenal to put in a better performance, even with 10 men, than what we see against Bournemouth. I expected a reaction last night against Shakhtar. I didn't see it. You know, I didn't see it. People will be saying, oh, but we're saving ourselves for the big game on Sunday. Well, I have no confidence going into Sunday because none of them players, and bearing in mind that the entire starting 11 that started last night, barring 2 players, Saliba and Jesus, will play against Liverpool. None of them players showed me last night that they're going to do anything against Liverpool.
Oh, we lost Brandon there.
They got to him.
I mean, yeah, they got to him. They said, no, take him
Get
out.
out of here. They don't
It's
agree
like,
with
get
you.
out. Look, we will bring Brandon back. I'm sure it's just his phone or his signal. Kenny, what are you telling me about this scenario, bro? Because the Ethan Wanyeri thing I want you to touch on, but also I believe that Igal and Northside are looking at things too differently here. I think Northside is kind of like, told you so. Let's just see how this plays out. And Igal's a bit like, I'm calm. Who cares? Let's see how it goes.
Well, I think first and foremost is the performances, and history tells you in football that eventually things catch up with you. You know, we saw 2 seasons ago, a habit of letting in goals, especially in games where we're winning. Winning 4-2 away to Aston Villa, winning 3-2, the last minute goal against Bournemouth. Eventually, conceding goals cost us big time. Everyone alludes that to Saliba be going out. I said that's nothing. It's habits, bad habits. And I think this season, the only game we've played well this season is PSG. Apart from that, our performances haven't been great. Yeah, there have been injuries, and we've had our plan B. But against the teams in the bottom 10, that's where the problems are. I can tell you categorically this Saturday we're going to raise our game because it's Liverpool at home. They're rivals, and we want to put on a show because we're at home. We're on TV. If anyone in this panel I can tell you right now, don't worry about our commitment on Sunday. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about our aptitude. Don't worry about that. That's never been a problem. But it's always been against teams in the bottom 10 where our problem. Wolves at home had a spell in the game. Yeah, we won it, but it wasn't great. Brighton, again, which we're meant to be the team that has challenged the Man City for the league. We go down to 10 men. Declan Rice was a pork chop. But it's Mikel's approach afterwards where he's negative. Against you understand against Man City when you're away at the Etihad, against Bournemouth, negative. That's where you think somehow this is going to bite us up the arse. And I said a few weeks ago that a team is going to get their act together, not a top team, but a team in the bottom half or bottom 10, whatever you call them, and that if they defend to the best of their ability, they win their battles in the midfield and have something up top, they're going to beat us. And it happened on Saturday. That's where the concern is. Another frustration for me as well is that he needs to accept, whether he likes it or not, that he's going to have to rotate. He's going to have to, because we're playing a game every 2 or 3 days. And even when we go on international duty, these guys are playing World Cup qualifiers, for their country, especially the South Americans, the Africans. And with a new manager coming for England, the best players are going to want to go because they don't want to go down a pecking order because competitions for places are at a premium. So he's got that situation. Rotate. No. So for instance, why are you unbalancing your midfield because you haven't got Odegaard when you've got a player who can actually play in that position where we look like we can have some sort of creativity, that look like there's a relationship between the number 10 and Bukayo Saka or vice versa. Yet he's playing square pegs around round holes because of seniority. And it's hurting us. That's where my frustration is. Because don't get me wrong, we don't know when Odegaard's going to be back. We don't know how fit Saka's going to be. But we still have to win games. And I feel that if you unbalance the team like he's doing and he isn't rotating at the right times, then by the time these guys go back, we're gonna have to have a situation where we've got to rely on another Dubai trip going away. But this time we'll be further down the pecking order. And that's why I say, if you get into bad habits now, when you try to get out of that rut, eventually it'll bite up the arse. And that's what I'm trying to say. Rotate players. Don't unbalance the midfield. If Ranieri fits your pattern of play, doesn't matter whether he's 17 or 27, play the guy. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to anyway. Don't just wait for Preston. Because that's no, or say, all right, if he plays well against Preston, that's an audition for Newcastle or other games. If the team is in balance and he's ready, play the lad. I'm not saying play him for the sake of it because he's the next best thing coming. I'm talking about football and the balance of the team because that's where we're getting hurt. Another thing as well, teams are working us out because last year, when we were looking compact, when we didn't have the ball, that was great because we actually were controlling the games. This time, putting men behind the ball and looking compact is basically inviting pressure. He's inviting pressure. He's allowing, teams to get a foothold in the game. And I always say, if you're always playing on the back foot, eventually you're going to succumb because that's how football is. You can't.
If you're good enough, you're old enough. That's what I think. I look at Barcelona. I think Chris Hudson said it in the show earlier with me and Judges saying, look, they've got 3 17-year-olds. Barcelona. Yamal is one of them, obviously killing it. So if you're good enough, young enough. Look at Fabregas. He was good enough at the time. So I understand you want to protect players.
This is type of plan though, because at the end of the day, I understand and respect the fact you bed them in. But when you've got a situation where your first choice isn't playing, and then you're having to rotate because out of necessity, this is when you bring the lad in because he will give you an option. He's not playing because I've seen how fans are with academy players. Let's play them, but they don't know where to play them. They don't think about the balance of the side. I'm talking about the balance of the team side, and that's where Neri comes into it. But at the end of the day, Mikel has got a habit of shooting himself in the foot and then only realising after the event what the situation is. So
we'll see, man. We'll see. Look, there's going to be a massive decision on the weekend we're going to get into in a minute. I want to get Brandon to finish what he was saying before he got cut off, and then I've got a couple of questions for Gowan North side. But go on, Brandon.
Yeah, well, I mean, top gooners hack my Wi-Fi, ain't they? So that's what. So yeah, I mean, the performances at the moment are just not filling me with confidence, and that's not just the past couple of games. That's throughout the entirety of the season. Like I say, you accept it against big teams, you accept it against at tough away grounds, but against Leicester, okay, we dominated the game, we conceded 2 sloppy goals, but they're 2 sloppy goals that shouldn't have been conceded in the first place. Southampton, they hit the bar, they hit the cross, they hit the post. We come out scraping at that one. And then, of course, Bournemouth, it finally catches up with us. Even with 10 men, we should be playing a lot better than what we did against Bournemouth. We should be playing a lot better than what we did last night. Like I said, I wanted to see a reaction. We didn't see it. So, yeah, you're probably right, Kenny. It's Liverpool at home. It's a good excuse for these players to get up for it. But I'm not really filled with confidence at the moment that we're going to reach the goal that we all set at the beginning of the season, which is to win a major honour. 5 years into the job, X amount of money spent, you'd expect us to be able to cope with what is, let's just say, 2 major injuries in the squad a lot better than what we are doing. But as Northside pointed out, we've got a bench full of defenders and very, very average players, and we can't rely on them. Gabriel Jesus is another prime example last night, right? We're playing Shakhtar. This ain't Real Madrid. This is Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk that had 1 shot on target in their opening 2 Champions League games, right? And he misses a bundle of chances, just like Gabriel Jesus always does. But the thing that I couldn't understand again by the manager last night, and again, will know what I'm about to say because I said it on the football terrace. Why take off Jesus? I know he's missed a bundle of chances, but we was quite comfortable in the game at that point. You're not going to use him against Liverpool, so why not keep him on the pitch? Why are you taking him off to bring on another player in Sterling who's going to miss a bundle of chances? Like, why not take off Havertz? Why not take off Trossard? Somebody who's actually going to feature against Liverpool, save them a little bit, save their energy a little bit. But again, that's another poor decision by the manager. And then, like we was just saying about Ethan, right? 17 or not, Arsenal have left themselves in this position, in this predicament by not doing enough in the summer. Now, either we did that intentionally because we actually genuinely believe that Ethan Nwaneri is going to be the next big thing. But if that's the case, then I want to see him play football. Every time he's come on the pitch, he's made an impact for Arsenal, which is more to be said than half of these fucking players that are playing right now. How many times have we seen Jesus let Arsenal down? How many times have we seen, the likes of Sterling, even though he's not been here that long, how many times have we seen him let us down? How many times, are we going to keep going around and around this? But either way, right, Arsenal left themselves in this predicament. So there's one of 2 things. It's either we believe in Ethan Nwaneri and we start giving him more games and more football, or this once again shows me that not only do I feel that we didn't do enough in the transfer window, but also the manager don't. Because if he did, then he'd be more happy to play these players, But for me, he's kind of like, I don't know, he's doing too much. He's overthinking again. We see, Bournemouth was a prime example as well. 3 DMs against Bournemouth away. That's all right if you're going to the Etihad. That's all right if you're going to Anfield. But Bournemouth away? Really? What? And then
No,
you're
it's
expecting...
shocking.
It's crazy to me, Dan. But the biggest problem that Arsenal have, and it's been a problem not just this season, but last season as well. And we all come out of there, right, at the end of the season, last season. Every single Arsenal fan that I spoke to or heard from or watched content, right, when they was asked the question, what do Arsenal need in the summer? We need a clinical forward. A clinical forward, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, you're spot on. We need a clinical forward. How many opportunities did we miss against West Ham? How many opportunities did we miss against Fulham? How many opportunities do we miss against Aston Villa in the first half? And they're the games that ended up costing us in the end, right? But then Arsenal don't go out and sign a clinical forward. We come back with Raheem Sterling. And our fans are all gassed about it because Chelsea are paying the majority of his wages. And, Mikel can unlock him. Forgetting that Raheem Sterling has never been a clinical player anyway, apart from when he's had arguably the best midfielder in world football behind him in Kevin De Bruyne at the time, in his prime, right? Who basically gave him a career, let's be honest. He gave Raheem Sterling a career because even then, Raheem Sterling at Man City wasn't clinical. He needed 500,000 chances to score. But Arsenal come out of that transfer window without buying a clinical forward. And everybody's going, it's an 8 out of 10, bro. It's a 7 out of 10, bro. And I'm thinking, seriously, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know, I don't like to bring up Lee too much because I know there's certain people that, just don't like his opinion or whatever. But Lee's absolutely spot on when he says there are two things within a football club that can raise the standards. Either your owners do it, because they're desperate to win, or the fan base has to do it. Neither of ours are doing it. I said this before. The Cronkies are happy when Arsenal are qualifying for Champions League consistently. Why? Because they're getting money. The Arsenal fans are happy when Arsenal go out and buy Real Sociedad's third best midfielder, Calafiori, because he's got nice hair. But don't worry about that clinical striker that we all said we needed in the summer because we brought in Raheem Sterling. Do me a favour. And then everybody's expecting us to actually go on and win major honours and not applying the pressure at the right time to the manager because he's showing yet again his naivety in certain moments, in certain games, and his, I want to say, lack of experience in a way because, he's been here 5 years, but it's only 5 years that he's managed anyway. So I just don't have any confidence that we're going to do anything this season. And ultimately, I had a look earlier on. Pochettino spent 5 years at Tottenham and won nothing. If Mikel Arteta doesn't win anything this season, that'll be 4 years without winning anything. When are we going to start having the conversation about maybe, just maybe, Mikel Arteta?
He's got to.
Pochettino.
He's got to win something this year, man. Absolutely has to. And I'm not saying he has to win the league. I'm saying he has to win a trophy, whether that's the Champions League, whether that's a domestic cup, because trophies are trophies and people laugh at cups. I don't know why. Why you should be laughing at trophies, I don't get it. Especially when people say, we don't want that trophy, we want that trophy. Man, we haven't won a trophy for 5 years now. So stop picking the trophies that you want to be winning. That's the way I see it. Look, Igal, I've got to be real. I think what Brandon and Northside have said there, in my opinion, and Kenny, I think it is mad when you actually look back, right? Mikel Arteta has come into this club and he had some okay players going forward, to be fair, but some of them weren't great in people's eyes. Lacazette being one of them, Pepe being another. Other than Aubameyang, there was not anyone that was lethal. Since then, the 4 forward players that he's bought have been Willian, Sterling, Trossard and Jesus. When you deep it, that's a shambles, isn't it? Let's just be real. That is actually a shambles that we haven't bought anybody better than those 4 players. Willian was a disaster. Jesus, I think, let's be real, had a good first 3 months. Since then, it's been a flop. I actually think he's a worse signing than Lacazette was for the same money. Then I look at Trossard, who I think has been a baller. I think that's been one that we can definitely say is a plus. And then Sterling, the jury's still out for me, but I'm not too sure about it. So can you understand why some of the fan base are like, where was our striker and attacking midfielder? Because I don't know how anyone can back this and go, nope, don't need one. Havertz will get you 30 goals. When Saka and Martinelli are on fire, we'll be fine. Ødegaard back will be fine. Cool. But when they're not there, I don't think we've got enough. And at the moment, you can see without Saka and Ødegaard, even you must be able to admit, creativity's gone, bro.
Listen, without Saka and Ødegaard, 2 of our best players, and going down to 10 men, you're going to struggle with creativity. But even with that being said, we're still currently creating the most big chances in the league. The problem is we're missing the most big chances in the league. And if you want to say a striker could make that better, fair enough. I agree with you there. But also, I don't think the striker is the main issue. I think it's similar situation, but slightly different. If you want to say, go get a left winger, another person who can offer us more, because right now Martinelli, yes, he had a good game in the last game, but overall, he's been poor. Leandro Trossard hasn't been playing well in the left wing. He's been playing better in the 10. So maybe the club was on the right track when they were trying to go get Nico Williams. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that, oh, we don't need nothing, because we could have always gotten more. But I was always trying to give you guys the logic of why I think what we have is still able to get us over the line. And right now, it doesn't look good. But of course, it's not going to look good when you look at the other circumstances that we've had. I love the fact that we're glossing over all the other things that I mentioned, and we're strictly talking about the summer. This, I get it.
Go on. You bring up what you mean then by that while we're glossing over it. What bits like what do you mean?
You guys are going straight to the bench, criticizing the bench, but you're not taking into a factor that we've had unprecedented amount of players out, in addition to the red cards. Now, I'm not saying we have 20 injuries, but if I'm not mistaken, right now we have Saka out, we have Odegaard out, Calafiori just got injured, Timber's injured, Tomiyasu's always injured, Zinchenko hasn't played any minutes this game, Saliba just got a red card, and we already know Kieran Tierney's not even in the plans, but he's injured also. I don't know how, the guy barely plays football. So that's one factor. Right, and even with
can you see from that though, Gal? Just quickly, can you see why we bring in the squad up though? Because we
I get that. But when you take out 7 or 8 players from any goddamn team in the whole world, they're gonna look weak. Stop this whole thing where now the bench is weak. Yeah, when you take Saka, Odegaard, Calafiori, Timber, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, your whole bench is injured. Of course, it's gonna look bad. Why are we overanalyzing?
You're actually wrong there, Gal. Barcelona have, I think, 6 or 7 main players out, and they're playing kids from their academy, and they're top of the league. So don't tell us that it can't happen. You said take out that many injuries or that many players out of a starting team, and you'll look bad. Plus, Dani Olmo hasn't even played many games. So, and they've got an actual manager, Hansi Flick, that I wanted at Arsenal, was one of the ones when they say, oh, who would you get that's better than Super Mick? Yeah, he's got a CV, he's won things, yeah, and this guy's got the experience to get them balling out. Even Lewandowski that was looking washed, he's got him balling and scoring goals. They got their youngsters popping goals. It can be done, but what it is you need an experienced manager that knows how to handle these things, an experienced manager that knows how to get the best out of players, experienced manager, and he hasn't even been there that long. He hasn't even been able to bring in all of his players, and yet they are top of the league, bro. You know what I mean? A couple of points off of Real Madrid. That Ancelotti's been there for time. So it can be done, Miguel. It can be done.
All right. First of all, I'm not saying it can't be done. And at the same time, the manager can still make mistakes. I agree with you guys. He should play Ethan. He should be a little bit more braver. But I'm just simply pointing out the fact that we're having criticism about the team as if and talking about the bench, completely glossing over the reason why the bench is looking weak, the reason why certain players are not looking good, the reason why our performances are somewhat shaky. We're glossing over the red cards. We're glossing over the injuries. These are not excuses. We still need to win even without them. And I still hold the team to have to win. I'm not saying you can lose and we can just get out of the title race. No, even with this, we have to weather the storm. And we have been weathering the storm. I just think after we get through this tough patch, you're going to see there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And this whole thing about, everything we're seeing right now is just foreshadowing how the rest of the season is going to be. I don't think that's true. I think what we're going through right now is the toughest part of the season. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, I think things will get better. Odegaard is going to come back fit. Saka's going to be back. We're going to see some of these players, God forbid, who don't have season-long injuries coming back into the team. We're not going to be getting red cards every single goddamn week as long as the referees start to act stupid. And yeah, overall, I think we have not been playing bad. We just have not been clinical. We have had the chances. We have been creating the chances. Once again, it comes down to us not being clinical. If you want to put that on not having a striker, fair enough. But we have created the most chances in the league. We've created the most big chances in the league. Defensively, we've been up there as one of the best teams in the league. And if you look at every single metric on how to judge a team, we've been up there amongst the best. In the Leicester game, we conceded 2 goals that if that player ever tried to replicate those goals, he wouldn't be able to. It was sure luck with one of the deflections and the other. And you look at some of the performances, yes, they weren't all amazing, but there was always circumstances and there was always a reason to explain it. I just don't think we're looking at the whole season and saying, oh, the whole season's been shit. Excuse me.
You're saying that we glossed over, guy. You mentioned two things that you said that we glossed over. You said one, the injuries, which we've already said. At the end of the day, this fan base can't have their cake. And I'm going to get to the second one. The first one, you said the injuries, yeah? The injuries is because this fan base always tell us that this bench can do a job and this bench is really good. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If the bench is as great as they say, when we have injuries, which is one of the reasons why you need a bench, then that bench need to be convincing in their performances and get us the win. We didn't get the win against Bournemouth. We didn't get the win against Brighton. And we came up short.
Why?
So the bench ain't good enough. No, the second one.
No, but we played with 10 men.
I'm getting on to the second one.
No, sorry.
I'm getting on to the second one. You're talking about the red cards, yeah? First of all, that also comes down to the manager and the discipline from this team. Second of all, yeah, you're talking about red cards.
Is it a discipline problem?
Hold on. You're saying about the red card. We're saying about the red card. We had 10 men against Shakhtar. Shakhtar is levels in terms of talent to Bournemouth. How come we look just as bad? We had 11 men on the pitch. We didn't get a red card, and we're still not looking that great. We didn't look great against Atlanta. We couldn't break them down. We was appalling. We didn't have a red card in that game. It's not just been the games that we've had. We've gone down to 10 men. That's disingenuous for you to say that. We've not been great over this season. PSG, we played very well. That was a performance where the scoreline and the performance matched up. We played really well and we got the score over the line. But the Brighton game, we weren't that great. Cool. The Atlanta game, we had all our players. We didn't get over the line. The Bournemouth game, you can say down to the red card. Let's be real. Before the red card, we were struggling to break them down with 3 DMs. And we're not surprised. It's not a balanced midfield when you play 3 DMs.
You want to know something? Show me a game this season where we had 11 men where we dropped points. Because in the league, we've not dropped points with 11 men. If you want to talk about in the Champions League versus Atlanta, fair enough. But in the league,
here we go. Come on, man.
Not one game where we dropped points, we finished the game with 11 men. If you want to tell me about, oh, these things we do to ourselves, we lack discipline, I question, is it a discipline problem or is it we're being refereed differently? Because there has been over 160 plus games this season, guys. One second. And not one other team has had a player sent off for a second yellow for kicking the ball. There's been numerous opportunities. It happened in the Chelsea game. It happened in the Liverpool game. It happened in the Tottenham Brighton game. And not one time have we seen that similar red card offense happen to anybody else. But it happened to us twice. I don't know about you guys. If you guys read some of the stuff, there's been a bunch of clubs who were complaining about our dark arts. I think the referees have been looking at us differently and giving us harsh cards. You're laughing.
No, I'm not laughing.
Tottenham Football Club and a couple other Premier League clubs were complaining to the Premier League about Arsenal and how
they we've been refereed differently ago.
I genuinely believe that referees have their eyes out for us specifically and little things that we do, like time wasting. Because I don't know if you guys do all these readings, articles, and other things outside of just watching the game, but I do. And when I see articles being written about Tottenham Football Club and 7 other clubs have complaint to the Premier League and the PGMOL about Arsenal's dark arts, they do factor that in when they're coming into the games, and they're looking for little intricate things that we do to try to gain an advantage. To what those taking the ball away was one of them. So you guys can sit here and be as negative as you want to be. Wait. Try to continue to ignore the facts in front of your eyes.
All right, again, all right. We have dealt with facts. I've said it many times on this program, which you've attended, that referees are looking out for us because we revel in the dark arts. We revel about Benjamin White in his shenanigans at corners. We revel about how much time he takes. We revel about the amount of time we wasted. If you look at the booking of Lewis Skelly at the Etihad, he got booked because referees were watching our time wasted when he had a conversation with our goalkeeper, and our goalkeeper went, "Oh, my leg." So you're right about that. But what you're wrong about is top teams can still win games with 10 men. They can. Real Madrid, because if you're saying that Arsenal is this top team, then they should be able to win a game against Bournemouth with 10 men. They should be able to see it through at home against Brighton with 10 men. It can't be just 10 men. It was performances and the reason why. Everyone who to a man or a woman who analysed that game against Bournemouth did not say we lost because of 10 men. They said we lost because we were poor in every aspect of the game, that only 3 of our players turned up against Bournemouth. Partey, Calafiori and Gabriel Magalhaes. The rest of them were terrible. That's why we lost against Bournemouth. We lost against Brighton. We lost against Brighton when we were 1-0 up, by the way, because we retreated and invited pressure on us. That's why we lost the game. It can't be just down to referees. As I said, top teams.
We never lost against
we've won games with 10 men before. So you can't just say we've never won a game with 10 men. You can't say Man City, Real Madrid, or all the big sides have won games with 10 men. It's part of football. Under Arsene Wenger, we had players sent off here. The fact is, yes, Arsenal have been refereed differently, but guess what? If you know you've been refereed differently, and all the pundits and all the fans and terrorists know you've been refereed differently, why did Declan Rice do what he did in order to
get him? No, they set an example.
All right. Why did Trossard kick the ball away in front of the referee against Man City? Why did he do that?
So why didn't the referee give Doku a yellow card for the same
thing?
Game?
I'm talking about Arsenal.
No.
That's the problem with Arsenal fans always do.
The fact of the matter is, in the same game when they gave Leandro Trossard a second yellow for that incident, another Man City player did the exact same thing.
Does it matter?
It does matter. It does matter. We're being refereed differently. What can't you get? We are being
treated. The fact that you know all of that, why give the referees ammunition? Why are you giving referees
at that point, it's already done. At the end of the day, these referees have it in their hands to give yellow cards and red cards, to have VR overturn it, to do all these things. Unfortunately, under Mikel Arteta, we have had somewhat of a discipline issue. But I think this season, in 8 games, to get 3 red cards, that is an unprecedented level of red cards. Even you guys have to admit. One second. Even you guys have to admit. To get 3 red cards out of 8 games is ridiculous.
Yeah, but they weren't overturned, were they?
Here's where I disagree with you slightly again, right? And here's where I agree with Kenny when he says, or Northside when he says it is a discipline issue, right? Saliba's is a red card. There's no question about it. I don't think anybody's going to argue against that one. It's a red card offence. Yes, we see a similar thing happen in the Liverpool game. The difference being is obviously where the ball's landing. Colwell's clearly going to get there first, whereas with Ben White, you don't know whether he's going to win that race with Evan Nelson.
Are you serious? I'm going to bring you a diagram.
Hang on.
I'm going to get you a diagram.
Why are you laughing?
Do you know what? Yeah, no. Do you know what's funny? Yeah,
hang on.
Because Arsenal fans, yeah, like yourself, Agal, you guys will cheer up the dark arts, but it works both ways. Dark arts means, yeah, you see Ramos and Pepe, back in the day of Real Madrid, they'll do things that should be noted by the referee, but they get away with it. But you always run the risk that you ain't gonna always get away with it. You always run the risk. If you set the precedent that we can do dark arts, well, teams can do dark arts as well. It works both ways. We can't celebrate it. Hold on a sec. You can't celebrate it when it's Arsenal and say, well, it's the dark arts. We don't want to review the decisions. We got away with it. No one talks about dark arts and the things that we get away with when it goes for us. But when it's other teams, oh, it's unprecedented. Big up to Brandon, because that Saliba one isn't unprecedented because that was a red. This is the problem, yeah? At the end of the day, diagram for you. Do you want at the end of the day, I don't need a diagram. I don't need a diagram, yeah? Because what do you need a diagram for?
Okay, this is what it's for. You, Brendan said,
who drew that? Who drew that? Babs.
This is no, it's not Babs, bro. It's my guy Monty. So basically, you got a situation where Tosin could have got sent off for that situation where he was standing and Colwell was behind him, where Ben White was almost level to Saliba and he was deemed that he was not close enough to recover How is a guy who's behind the player closer to recover? Then you actually look at the still images of the two
Dark arts.
situations. One
Dark
second,
arts.
1 second. And you look at the two situations, you see that the player is down here and the ball is still in the air. Where in this situation, the ball is closer to the sideline. So that means Ben White is going to have more time to recover. So in my opinion, this is a situation where they're both red cards or they're both yellow cards. And you can't tell me that there's massive difference between the two, because then you're basically saying VAR is determining what is a goal scoring opportunity and what is not a goal scoring opportunity, because that is not part of VAR. VAR is supposed to just give clear and obvious errors. And you guys, as much as you want to say that the referee is right and it's a red card, then sure, then you have to say the Tosin one was also a red card. Because as you can see here, Ben White was closer to the goal and had more recovery time to cut off the angle than a guy who was behind him in Chilwell. Simple.
Okay, before you come in, Brandon, before you come in, Northside, I know you've got to go, bro, because you got your thing. I will redirect to you because you got your watch along. So you go, bro. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Now, big up, man. Big up. Listen, the last thing I'll say before I go, yeah, this is a problem, Miguel. You always hold everybody else to account but the people that run this club and the players on the pitch. At the end of the day, who played him that stupid ball back? Trossard. So you should be talking about him. Yeah, he was wrong to play that ball. Also, Saliba doesn't have to bring the player down. Regardless, he doesn't have to. Yeah, we go 1-0 down. We still got 11 men. You said with 11 men we can still get back into the team. It's an inferior team. Yeah, that's down to the team. But the way that we were playing football, even before that red card, was a disgrace, bro. The way the manager set us up was a disgrace. Also, the fact that we're having to use this bench has nothing to do with the fact that we have seen Havertz not scoring goals in games. We've seen Jesus get a bunch of opportunities in front of goal, not put him away. Yeah. When do you actually look at the manager and say, where are all the things that we did well? Really quickly before I go, yeah, there are things that this manager used to do well. But the problem is, yeah, he doesn't know how to mash them together. One season we're playing attacking football, next season we're playing defensive football. What happened to the overlaps from Ben White and crossing into the box? What happened to the crosses into Declan Rice so he can head the ball? And that was another option that we could use to score goals. What happened to crosses into Havertz and using his height to score goals? What happened to Martinelli when he used to run through teams like he scored against Chelsea? What happened to that? What happened to actually having someone like Tini at the back that could defend but can also score goals? What happened to Thomas Partey that used to be a deep line playmaker and DM shielding the back line and putting balls over the front and putting balls? Let me finish because I have to go quickly. But what happened to Partey as a deep line playmaker, making chances for the front three and is passing from deep? There was a lot of things that we had, yeah, but it seems like all of that is nullified all of that to just have this defensive approach. He might as well play three at the back. I'm sorry, yeah. If this fan base want to champion dark arts and want to champion this bench, well, cool. You have to now back it, because this is the bench you guys wanted and you told us was good enough. The dark arts, you man was saying it's a way to win a game. If it goes against you, I don't want to hear it. There's bad decision making, not just for Arsenal, for everybody. Yeah, but the manager has to find a way. Don't start coming out with this unprecedented red cards and stuff like that. Hussam has told us times where Man City players have put high studs and need into them and they haven't got a red. It goes for everyone. At the end of the day, we lack the preparation in getting a striker. We lack the preparation in getting proper competition for Odegaard. And the fact that this manager, yeah, does not know how to utilize his players properly. Who told him to go and get Calafiori to be an inverted left back when we've already done that with Zinchenko and it didn't work out? Who told him to do that? Nobody. He's created this team the way he wants. So guess what? With time, with money, yeah, your final product, you will be judged. And this season, he has to get over the line. We're not hearing anything about VAR. Everybody gets managed by VAR. And don't just go on like it's a conspiracy theory for Arsenal. Other teams complain about it as well. Get over the line. Get over the line. Man City get things that go against them. Liverpool get things that go against them. Chelsea, I've been watching all the opposition this season. They get decisions that go against them as well. Get over the line. Stop using referees, VAR, red cards, the fact that we've got players out as if we couldn't prepare for the majority of those things. We can't control what the referees do. But also, how about don't pull the man down? How about don't kick the ball out of play when the referees told us at the start of the season, if you do that, you're going to get booked? How about don't do that? There are things that are in our control that we can do, but you would rather skate over all of that and say you guys are being negative. No, it's accountability. The same way you'll make us accountable for everything we're saying here and calling us negative, have that same accountability for your manager that's created this, your sporting director and Edu that you've believed in, and the bench that you've told us that's fixed. It's not just accountability for people that say things online and VAR and referees and pundits and Arsenal fans that don't believe. It's also accountability for the people that make the decisions at the club. And when they keep making the same mistakes, this is why we stick to our guns, bro. And that's the difference. Yeah. So stop looking at excuses, bro. It's 5 years in. I'm sorry. We are not prepared. And injuries come down to a lack of preparation. If he went out there and got the players necessary, I'd be looking and saying, no problem. We got Dani Olmo. No problem, Gal. We've got Isak on the bench. Or we got this and that. But instead, look at the team that he's created. 2 strikers that don't score goals. A winger that can't compete with Saka. A bench that we've got Ethan that's 17 years old. Is he really going to develop him? Did he develop ESR? Did he develop Zinchenko the way people said he was going to develop him? Did he develop Jesus? Did he develop all these players, bro? No, he didn't. Did he develop Eddie Nketiah? He didn't develop these players. He's not going to give him the minutes. He's only throwing Lewis Skelly on now and feeding him to the wolves. You're bringing an Ethan in a game with 10 minutes and feeding him to the wolves. What does that do to his confidence? I'm sorry, there gets a point where you have to make your manager as accountable as you make the VAR and the referees. You can't always look at everybody else and say, why they're not doing us a job. We've lacked the preparation. And I'm sorry, fans like yourself have said that we should get on board of all of this. So when it goes sideways, you also have to say, do you know what? Maybe the bench wasn't as prepared as I thought it was.
You want to know something? I'm not prepared for that because we're still, what, am I confused? Or have we only lost 1 game in 6 months?
No problem, Miguel. No problem. No problem.
Am I mistaken, or are we not undefeated in pretty much majority of our games except until the last game?
It's not the only game we've dropped points, though, is it?
Listen, you can drop points. You can get a draw away at Man City. You can get a draw versus Brighton when you're down to 10 men. I think it's relatively understandable. Northside, I understand criticizing Mikel Arteta over the lineups. I understand giving Easton an opportunity, being a little bit more brave. I understand saying, even if you want to say the red cards are on you, you need to be better at that. I understand that. But the thing that I don't understand is, I feel like you're saying everything is coming to a head, and now we're seeing the problems we've seen months ago. No, bro. A couple of weeks ago, you would not have been saying this.
That's a lie, Dan. Have I not been calling this out?
A couple of weeks ago, you would not be saying everything is showing up now, and now we have problems again.
You're lying, Miguel. You're lying.
I think Northside. After you've seen us weather the storm with Odegaard out, you were like, okay, we're doing good. Now that Saka's gone out, you still don't want to acknowledge that Saka's injured.
Egal, I don't put words in your mouth. I don't put words in your mouth.
One second.
Egal, no.
Understand my point. Understand my point. You are having.
No, I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth.
Understand my point.
Don't say things that I didn't say.
Understand my point.
I'm on my channel every day. Don't say that.
Understand my point.
Every time I come on this channel, you're not going to do that, bro. You're not going to do that because I never said that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
Okay.
If you want to say your opinion, but don't lie on things that I said.
Listen to
Yeah, you want to challenge my opinion, that is fine, Egal, and I need to go, but don't say things I didn't say.
Okay.
In the summer, Egal, let me say what I said, because you said something that's a lie, and I'm not going to let that pass. Stop lying. No, I did not say that. I didn't say that it was okay.
Have you at any point acknowledged that Saka and Odegaard are injured?
What you said, Egal, let me reply.
Have you acknowledged Saka and Odegaard are injured?
Let me reply to what you said. That's not correct, because I'm not going to allow anyone to say something that I did not say.
You're just cutting me off. You're not.
No, because you said something that's a lie, and I'm not going to have that.
Okay, bro. At what point are you going to acknowledge that you guys creators are injured?
Before Odegaard got injured, before Odegaard got injured. Odegaard got injured.
Yeah, Gal, whoa. Gal, just let Northside stop.
Let me say my point. I don't like that.
And then
let me say my point. Let me say my point, because you lied on something. You lied on something that I said. No, you're being disingenuous
because you were not going to say. You said.
I do not care what you said.
If Odegaard and Saka get injured,
let me say my bit, because I got to go, bro. Let me just say my bit.
If Odegaard and Saka get injured, we're going to be in trouble. And now you're ignoring.
No, I don't care.
Northside, really quick, and then the gal can come in really quick.
And then I got to go.
Can't let you both shout over each other, man. Come on.
If you don't like my opinion, that is completely fine. Do not lie on my opinion. I'm live every day, and I keep my standards the same. Before Odegaard got injured, I said we need to go get Dani Olmo. It's on my channel. The facts are there. After Odegaard got injured, I said this ain't good enough. People told me, oh yeah, Trossard is playing in the 10. I said this ain't sustainable. I never said that this was good enough. Yeah. And I said, why didn't we go out there and get Dani Olmo like I wanted, instead of giving Barcelona the time to get Dani Olmo? Please do not lie on my name and tell me that I was happy and said, oh, it's okay. Even though Odegaard got injured, we got Trossard there. No. I wasn't happy with that. And I've been calling that. And I've been calling out this bench for time on this channel and on my channel and every other channel I've been on. I've kept saying what happens when Odegaard's injured, what happens if Saka's out, and what happens if something happens to one of our strikers. Plus, we need a proper striker. And I said we need a deep line playmaker. Yeah, you cannot like my opinion. That's up to you. I honestly don't care because at the end of the season, we'll talk, Igal. You know we'll talk. But do not say that I was happy with that because I was not happy in saying that it was good with Trossard playing in the 10. I was not happy with that. I was never happy with that because I never wanted that. That is why I said I wanted Dani Olmo. I got to go now. Big up.
Performance versus PSG.
But listen, I got to go.
Were you not happy with the performance versus PSG?
Yeah, I was happy with that performance as a solo performance. And I said at the start of the season, we are not prepared. We're not going to win a major honor because this team ain't ready. The bench ain't ready. The team is not strong enough and it hasn't been strengthened.
One more thing before you go. Maybe it's a little disingenuous for me, but when it comes to Odegaard and Saka both being out, you said it from the beginning of the season that if those two guys are both out, we're fucked. Now that we're in that situation, can you not admit that you're going to expect poor performances? You're not going to expect the same performance.
No. I didn't expect us to win anything, even if they were fit, because they've never shown us to get over the line, and that's factual information. They've never got us over the line. Second of all, because we didn't prepare and strengthen the way we should have in terms of quality, instead of Sterling, someone that could actually rival Saka, and because we didn't actually go out there and strengthen the number 10, I'm not surprised that we're in this situation, because I said if we didn't strengthen the way we should strengthen, this was always going to happen. Did I expect it to happen this early? No, I didn't. But I knew it was going to cost us either now or the end of the season. I personally think it's going to, obviously, end of the season, you know who's won and who's not. But I always said this was going to happen because we didn't strengthen. This is not something I said now. I've been saying this and I've not wavered. Even when people like yourself have been very positive about the bench, I've not wavered in my opinion because I knew that the bench wasn't that good. That's what I'm saying, Igal. You don't have to agree with me, but I beg you don't put words in my mouth. You know what I'm saying?
I was coming from the point that you're ignoring the fact that these guys are injured. But fair. If you're gonna just say
they're not gonna turn up at the end of the season to get us over the line, in my opinion. So regardless if they come back, we haven't strengthened.
They're the ones that got us in this situation to get us up here anyway. So hey, anyways, you gotta go do your show, bro. Big up. Have a good one.
Love. Big up.
Love Northside.
Listen, I'm just gonna say something.
Go on, Miguel.
I love your show, but the chat, have some goddamn respect.
Yeah,
guys, if you guys disagree with me, tell me why. You don't gotta call me names. And if you do want to call me names, then tell me what the hell are you doing here in the first place if you don't want to hear from me. I don't get it. If you guys just gonna be insulting people, it don't make sense. And hey, you don't have to agree with anything I say. You can disagree with everything I say. But at the same time, I'm willing to be here and have a conversation with people who have a difference of opinion and have a conversation with people because there are difference of opinions within fan bases. There are people who disagree with you. There are people who agree with me probably, and you probably don't like those people. But guess what? We're still going to have these conversations because there's different sets of fans, different types of people, and everyone is going to have a different opinion on things. You don't have to like my opinion. I don't have to force it on you. I'm just here to give my opinion. And if you don't like it, fair enough. But you don't have to call people names and insult people. I don't do that, and I don't expect you to do that either.
No, come on. Well said, bro. Well said. Kenny, you're on mute, mate. But nah, well said to you, bro. And I did sweat in the chat.
I want to say what Miguel says, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about a debate. Not everyone has the same sort of opinions, and everyone, you got to remember, not everyone supports the club in the same way. We all have our own fan experience, and unless you're going to pay for Igal's season tickets to go to the game, or pay for his memorabilia, or pay for any of our season tickets, that's when you've got to let us have our say. You've got to let us have our say, because at the end of the day, we all support the club. We all want to win. It's just that we disagree on certain things, like who's the manager. I want change. Igal thinks the manager's in the right direction. I want trophies like yesterday. Igal thinks, well, they are going to come, but they got the season isn't over. So that's how we've got to look at it, and that's how we've got to do it. Because at the end of the day, this is your show. It's for you guys, the viewers. It's your show. Let us land. And enjoy what we're doing. Because if we're all agreed with each other, you wouldn't be here, any of you. I promise you. You'll think it's a boring show.
Trust me, man. If we sat there and all went, isn't this the right? And it would be like no one's watching it. So I agree with that, Kenny. But please, in the chat, man, just have some respect. Yeah, please. It's so easy. I know everyone gets rattled, and I know people don't like hearing stuff that you don't agree with. But let's just keep it respectful. Because trust me, Igal's a legend. I've met him. He's a top guy. I don't agree with him myself sometimes, but it's all good and it's all love. Listen, let's close the show by talking about Sunday because it looks as if there's some double injury boost news. It looks as if Timber and Saka could be okay. If Timber and Saka are not okay, what are we going to do at the back? Brandon, I'll come to you first. Give me your team 11. What would you do? And we're imagining Timber and Saka and Calafiori are all out, by the way. Hopefully they'll be back.
What do you do? I think you've got to go David Raya, Ben White at right back. Probably Timber to partner Gabriel. And then you'd probably have to play Zinchenko maybe at left back. I mean, you're not
that
really...
Last bit worries me. Salah versus Zinchenko worries me.
I mean, what other options have you got though, Dan? This is the problem.
I'll tell you what I would do. Me and Judges had a chat on this. People aren't going to like it, but I would play Rice at centre-back to replace Saliba. And I'd have Partey at 6, Marino at 8, and Trossard at 10. Because Partey's been good in the 6. I don't think we're missing Rice in the 8 because he ain't doing anything anyway. Marino actually is an 8 and plays there, apparently. Trossard has been playing in the 10, so keep him there. And then you have White, Rice, Gabriel, and then hopefully Timber if he's back at left back. And then Saka if he's back right wing. And then that's what I would do. And Rice has played there for West Ham, grew up there playing for Chelsea. And to be fair, has played a couple of games in the pre-season before for Arsenal at centre-back and in other games has played at centre-back and stuff. So that's what I would do. Some people will shout at the screen, go, no, we need Rice in the midfield. He really hasn't been that good this season in the midfield because he's playing in the 8, a position I don't think he can play. I know Kenny disagrees. I think he's a 6. Kenny, I know, thinks he's an 8. I don't think he's a very good 8. I think he's doing okay, but I don't think he's doing anything great. So for me, I don't think we'd miss him in midfield. So that's what I would do. I would rather that than have Zinchenko or Partey at right back. But I'm happy open to discussion on this one, man.
I can agree with that one. I think there is a solution there. Declan Rice, like you say, playing at centre back, not done too much in midfield. I'm in agreement with that, Dan. I think that could be a solution. The problem is I don't really have much faith in this manager to come up with the right solution. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem. You know, I do think that at times he tends to overthink things, and I don't know. We could see a madness at the weekend. We really could. We really could see a madness, especially if the injuries are as bad as what they, seem that they are. But yeah, there's no excuses really. We've got to win the game. We've got to win the game, no matter what. We can't afford to drop points again there. Not now. Not with the games that we've got coming up as well. We've got, Newcastle away.
Newcastle, Chelsea away. Crazy.
Chelsea away is going to be easy. Inter Milan away isn't going to be easy. And I know, after that, it's pretty much, Arsenal got all their tough away fixtures out of the way, apart from Anfield, of course. And then it's kind of like, we can start to get into a bit of a rhythm, etc. after that, hopefully. But, we know as well as what anybody else does, especially over the last two years, that if you drop too many points, doesn't matter what point in the season it is, if you drop too many points, you'll be out of the title race quicker than you can say boo. And Liverpool are looking decent this season as well. Arne Slot's surprised a lot of people, I think. I think a lot of people were expecting a drop-off from Liverpool. I actually like what he's brought to the table. He doesn't play the same way as Klopp, but it's similar. And I think he's got them playing some real decent football, controls games really well. And they look reinvigorated again, Liverpool. So this ain't going to be easy. And like you say, the danger men are Salah and Diaz. you would have to say as well. I mean, Jota always scores against Arsenal, always, without fail. And it's worrying, Dan. It
Hopefully
really
he's
is.
out. Jota. Hopefully Jota's out. They're saying.
But yeah, no, it's worrying, bro, because when you see the way that Arsenal defended after William Saliba went off, and I know we was with 10 men, but we still played with a back four, and it just doesn't fill you with confidence, bro. It reminded
Would
me.
it fill you with that back four that I selected? Fill you with confidence, though, Brandon? Because with White and believe it or not, with White and Timber, we actually haven't conceded a goal this season. I don't think, because we kept a clean sheet against Wolves, we kept a clean sheet against Spurs, we kept a clean sheet against Villa. We changed it up against City. Obviously Brighton, we went down to 10, and I don't know if they played that. Maybe that was the one they did concede, but there was 10 men. But since Calafiori's come in and we've messed up with the back line, we've obviously conceded goals against Southampton, Leicester, and obviously Bournemouth. So I feel like Ben White and Timber are actually our better fullbacks. And I think if Declan Rice was to slot in next to Gabriel, I think it would shore it up, man. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if you guys, Kenny and Igal, if you agree with that, because a lot of people went like, "That's madness. That's madness. You can't play Rice."
You know what? I think he likes a right-footed, left-footed combination at centre back. So Benjamin White will play it, and if Timber's fit and available, then he can play it right back, and then the left back. He may go with Miles Lewis-Skelly. Or he might think, what, Shevchenko's got the experience. We're going to be in our front foot, and that's the situation. But I do think that a game like this, if he disrupts the midfield, then it's going to be suicide, because I do think you've got to have some sort of balance in the midfield. It could be a one-chance game, like it was against Man City last season when we won 1-0. I'll tell you one thing for a start. Liverpool under this guy, there's no grunge. Grunge rock, Nirvana, Foo Fighters football that you get with Jurgen Klopp. This is more, with this guy, it's more like Mozart, Beethoven, Peter the Wolf, Benjamin Britten style of football, classical music, to the extent that he tries to control games. I'll put my house on that Liverpool are going to come and try and nick a win, because that's how they play. They kind of, in terms of the momentum that they're having right now, in terms of their belief, they can't go to the Emirates and lose, because it's going to put doubts in their mind whether they'll win the league. So they're going to be cagey, as they have been all season when they played.
So what's your back four then, Kenny? What's your back four then?
My back four is going to be, reluctantly, it's going to be Shevchenko. If Timber's fit, right back, he'll go right back, and I think Benjamin White will be the right sided centre half, and Gabriel Magalhaes will be the left sided centre half. Then the midfield. My midfield is going to be Partey, Rice. He's going to play Mourinho, but I'll play Wanyeri, and then the front three up top, Kai Havertz. Either side of Kai Havertz is going to be Trossard or Martinelli. Take your pick wherever you've got to play them. But I do think
Saka's going to be back.
If Saka's back, that's fantastic. Then it's Saka and Martinelli. But either way, the onus is going to be on us, because to take the game to Liverpool on the basis that Liverpool are not going to make the mistakes they made last season, the season before, where they played expansive football, and we just done them on the counter attack. You look at 2 seasons ago, we beat them 3-2. The goals they conceded against us on the counter. First minute, Martinelli, bang, goal. Saka's goal just before half time, bang, counter attack. And then we got the penalty. Last season, again, counter attack, Saka first goal, and then Martinelli and the counter attack again, Martinelli and the goalkeeper, and they had a bit of skirmishing. And then when they're trying to make it 2-2, Trossard on the counter attack. Liverpool, no, they played the grunge rock and roll football like they did on the Klopp. It's suicide. They're getting nothing out of the game. We'll win it, regardless.
Who's your left back?
My left back, well, reluctantly, I think he'll play Shevchenko, because he's going to have to go on the front foot, because we're at home against Liverpool, because the onus is on us, to take the game away, because Liverpool will not play, as I said, grunge rock and roll fighters football. Not a chance. Not under this.
In preseason, when I seen Zinchenko versus Mo Salah in the preseason, I said I never want to see that matchup ever again.
I hear. Necessity. If Calafiori's out, necessity. Unless you want to play Miles Lewis-Kelly for the balance. Is that?
I think
I would rather play Miles Lewis Skelly, Ben White,
no,
Timber,
no.
and
No.
so Ben
No.
White. 1 second, listen to what I'm saying.
Hang on.
Ben White right back. Timber, if he's fit, right center back. Gabriel Magalhaes, and then at left back, I would rather play Miles Lewis Skelly there. He has the pace. Yes, he's young. He can make mistakes, but I would trust him more than I would right now. KVR going up against Mo Salah or Zinchenko going up against Mo Salah. Really and truly, whoever goes up against Mo Salah is going to be a nightmare. But I would rather play Miles Lewis Skelly than Zinchenko or KVR. And that's just because he would have more pace to recover against him.
Okay. Do you know what I think the best way to beat Liverpool is? If you stop their attack and we get that one chance on the break, which is how Arsenal pretty much been playing most of the season anyway. I think that's the best way to deal with Liverpool. And we know that Salah is their most dangerous player. Now, there is a way that you can get Zinchenko in without him causing too many defensive problems, but it means Mikel Arteta going to a back three. You know how Man City, what Man City do with Stones, where he kind of steps out into midfield. You could do that with Declan Rice and have him form a part of the back four or a back three, should I say, when we're out of possession, and then have Zinchenko playing as a wing back on one side and Ben White playing as a wing back on the other, and then Timber and Gabriel next to Declan Rice, who can step into midfield when we're in possession, and then that way you've got Gabriel, who's going to be a little bit closer to Salah, who can help Zinchenko with the defensive side of things on that side. And then you of course got Timber and Ben White who can double up on Diaz. I think if you stop Liverpool like that, then we have a good opportunity of hitting them on the counter as well, especially playing wing backs as well. You know, and then Ben White can get up the pitch, support Saka if he's back. Zinchenko can get up the pitch and support Martinelli. I think that's probably our best opportunity to win the game. I think Mikel Arteta has to change the formation slightly, I think.
He has no choice because Saliba's always in the team. Overall, we know the front three. Saka's available. He's starting. Kai Havertz is going to start. And Martinelli is going to start. I think in the 10, as much as we want Ethan to play, he's probably going to play Trossard in the 10. That's probably what's going to happen. We know Partey is going to be in the team. I don't think Jorginho's going to start this game unless something happens to Thomas Partey. He's been our best midfielder so far this season. I put my hand up.
You might play him right back, Miguel.
He can't, surely you can't play him right back versus Liverpool because Liverpool's attack is is very threatening, and we would need Thomas Partey in that middle. I'm not about to say Mikel Moreno starts over Declan Rice in the midfield and then Declan Rice goes to the back line, because I think Mikel Arteta doesn't like to do that unless he is in an absolute do or die situation where he will move somebody from the midfield to the back line. He did that in the last game and it didn't necessarily work so much. So I think it's going to be a situation where we're just going to go Declan Rice, Partey, Trossard midfield, and then the back line is going to just be all defenders. Miles Lewis Skelly being the only potential outsider that could come in. But if I know Mikel Arteta, he's going to play it safe. Ben White's going to stay at right back. Timber, if he's available, is going to play right center back. Gabriel Magalhaes is going to play left center back. The only wild card is left back. And would he play KVR over Zinchenko in this game for his defensive ability, or would he play KVR for his offensive ability?
Well, last night when Calafiori got injured, he brought on Miles Lewis Skelly ahead of Zinchenko or Kivior, which was amazing to me. I mean, maybe he sees him as the one ahead of him now. It means Kivior come on the
game. I would love that.
Cook the goose, though. Don't you think? You know, you look what happened with Kivior. You know, he plays us into trouble against Bournemouth, and he substitutes him almost immediately. And Zinchenko, as Miguel says, if I was Liverpool, diagonal ball, mate.
He doesn't trust neither of them.
Yeah, well, but can you imagine it? If you're Liverpool, you say to Van Dijk, diagonal ball, Rose Salah, ghost in behind them. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I'll do. But the thing about it is that I don't know about you guys. I think, and I hope I'm wrong, I think 95, 97 points is probably going to win the league. So we're going to have to be immaculate in terms of winning games. And this game has to be 3 points because we have to assume, rightly or wrongly, that Man City are whenever the league starts, always assume Man City are going to go unbeaten. They probably won't, but be pessimistic in that respect. That
Why can't we go on that kind of run?
What's that?
Why can't we have that kind of confidence?
What you can, but we've got to be immaculate. All I'm saying is we've got to be immaculate. That's why I think a point's not going to be good enough on Saturday.
Let me ask you a question. Arsenal won the league in 2001-2002 season. How did we start that season? Do you remember?
I'll tell you one thing. That's our best ever. That's the best ever team I've ever seen at the Arsenal. I can tell you that without saying that. It's better than Invincibles. But yeah, we lost 3 home. We won. We were unbeaten away from home. We lost 3 home games against Leeds, Charlton, and Newcastle.
And was that not in September?
No, we lost against Leeds in August. We lost against Charlton, I think, in November, and then we lost against Newcastle in December.
So early in, I was listening to I don't know too many. I don't remember too much about that. Obviously, I was very young, so I wouldn't remember as much as you. But simply, some people were pointing out that Arsenal in that season went on a 13-game winning streak. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was in the new year, and we could do that. But that season we had 3 goalkeepers. All of our goalkeepers, goalkeeper number 1, 2, and 3, all got medals.
Yeah. So we went.
Yeah, Seaman, Taylor,
and we went 21 games unbeaten in that season, also.
Yeah.
So with that being said, couldn't you see us replicate something like that with the defensive ability that we have?
We have to play well, Miguel. Simple, play well, and that breeds confidence.
This is the thing. This is the thing. We're not saying we can't do that. We're not saying that we can't win the league. I don't think anyone here is saying we cannot win the league. I don't think we'll win the league. I think it will be Manchester City again, unfortunately. I hope it's not, but we can do it. Absolutely. Look, Brandon's got to go, and we do need to close, man. I've got a couple of super chats to go. Brandon, if you need to shoot, man, then you go.
I'll just Brandon,
do
super
chats and show, man. But love for coming on, man. Always a pleasure, man. And we'll see you next time, brother. This one comes in from LJ Brown. Says, we all know what we need to get a 9, an attacking midfielder. Edu wasted months on 2 players. Attack sometimes is the best form of defense, but an 8 out of 10 window. Yeah, it certainly was not that. LJ, you're a legend, man. Big up, bro. Appreciate that. This one did make me laugh. Diagram, allow it, man. But the diagram, we saw it. It did come out. Troy says, Igal, if Arteta doesn't win this season, do you sack him? I don't know if he means a trophy or a league. Where are you at?
I'm real talk. Tired of this conversation. Every day I'm hearing the same conversation. Sack him or not. How about this? If Liverpool finish above us, then yes. If Man City finish above us again, that's what I'm saying. If Liverpool finish above us in any way or form,
don't you rate Liverpool? Sorry, it's just a personal question. Don't you rate Liverpool?
No, not better than us.
Why?
Because I think we have a better team.
Yeah, but it's got to be more than that. Do you think that they won't be able to sustain?
I think we have a better manager and a better team, and if they were to overtake us this season, I would have to take a real hard look at our team, our manager, and everybody at the club. And I don't think Liverpool are a better team than us. I think Liverpool will eventually fall off. Right now, they're playing really well. They've had a relatively good schedule also. But hey, it shows against Bournemouth. If things don't go your way, it doesn't matter what your schedule is. You still have to beat the team in front of you. But yeah, Liverpool's a talented team. They have some good players, but I still think our team is better. I think our manager is better. And if they finish above us, I'm going to have real heavy, hard questions for Arteta.
I think Liverpool have got better, some better individuals than us in terms of Salah's probably the best right winger in the world, and Trent's probably the best right back in the world, and goalkeeper Alisson. But I would rather have Arsenal's 11 than Liverpool. So I'm with Igal. If they finish above us, huge question marks, man. Huge question marks.
Yeah, but if they finish above us, the reason why you've got to be angry with Arteta is because they beat the teams that statistically they should beat. And that's my issue this season. Our problem is never going to be Man City, the big top, the big 6. The reason why it's never going to be a problem is because the motivation is there in itself. If the players are motivated, so are the crowd and so is the manager. But let's get it right. that's not going to win you the league. It's games. It's the games against the bottom 10 where motivation maybe not. Maybe not be in abundance as it would be against the big games. But if you look at the performances, we will lose games if we don't buck our ideas up against the Fulhams of the world, the Bournemouths of the world, which we've already lost to, and maybe West Ham if they get their act together, because they can beat anyone in their day. But we may not lose against Tottenham, Newcastle, all the other teams, Man United, Chelsea, because of the motivations there. But let me tell you something now. You win leagues by beating Fulham. You win leagues by beating Brentford and vice versa. Anyway, because at the end of the day, that's where the points have to be accumulated. That's where you improve your goal difference. And that is where, if we don't buck our ideas up, that's where we will lose the league. But Liverpool, on the other hand, apart from Nottingham Forest, they're doing what they should be doing against those teams. And that could see them get closer, or, God forbid, over the line.
Hey, the way we're speaking today, you think it was? You think we lost 7 games on the bounce?
Well, yeah, but we're a big club. But again, we're a big club. You've got to realise, right? Petr Cech said that when he was at Chelsea, a draw was like a funeral parlour, and that's how we got. If you're a big club, losing a game, it's carnage.
I understand, but also
it levels you the standards you have as a big club.
I understand, but also it's not only about standards; it's also about tempering. What do you call it? Yourself, and not getting too high or too low. Because I feel like a win,
success like we have.
The win versus Shakhtar caused more questions in the performance.
Miguel, you got a new boy. You got a young lad, haven't you?
Bro, I understand. I understand.
You probably had more fun reading my bedtime story than watching that, Ross. Trust me.
Yeah, I get it. It's not entertaining. At times, obviously, we want to watch entertaining football. We don't want to be bored out of our mind. That was a very boring game, but it's not about standards at this point. It's just about understanding the circumstances. And I feel like I'm a little bit more understanding of the circumstances that we're facing and the difficulties that we're having at this moment in time. And I'm not really
right. Gal, this will be a good question to close.
Conclusion.
This will be a good question for both of you to close, and then we really do need to go after this, right?
Sorry about that.
How many points do you think we will get from Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle? Forget Inter Milan, Preston. We want to win them as well, obviously. But what do you realistically think we're going to get from those 3 games? I think that's a really important question because we need to get decent points from here. I'll let you go first, Gal.
Realistically, if we get if I say 9 right now, everyone's just gonna laugh, right? But we're expected to win at home, away to Newcastle, and away to Chelsea. It's away to Chelsea, right? Away to Newcastle and away to Chelsea. Realistically, you'd expect us to maybe beat. I would expect us to get at least 6 points minimum. Worst case scenario, and 1 loss in there. But best case scenario would probably be 7 points. I don't see us winning all 3 games right now based on how we're performing. But one thing I will tell you, we raise our levels against these teams. We don't play this poor football like we did against Shakhtar, against teams like Liverpool, against teams like Chelsea. Maybe Newcastle, we sometimes drop our heads. But against the top 6 teams, then even when we're dog shit under Arsene Wenger, we raise our levels. I expect us to perform not only against Chelsea, but against Liverpool. And if Bukayo Saka is back, you're going to see, because we've only played 1 game without him, and you've seen how poor we were. I think Bukayo Saka coming back, he's a game changer.
Look, if we get Saka and Timber back, I think we'll beat Liverpool. I think we'll go 2-1. If we don't, I think it might be a draw. But I still think we'll pick up 5 or 6 points in these next 3 games. What are you saying, Kenny?
5?
Yeah, first and foremost.
2 draws.
I think we might draw. I think we could draw a couple, yeah. I think we could.
Bro, if you do 2 draws, the next show I'm gonna be dead. The guys are just gonna be going crazy for 20 hours.
Doesn't matter. You know, you're allowed to be wrong once.
Man, with injuries.
You're allowed to be wrong once.
You can't have 2 draws. 2 draws is worse than 1 loss.
Yeah, because
I'd rather have 2 wins and a loss.
Do you mean realistic? Realistic. We got to be super disciplined at St James's Park. So I'm predicting one thing, you go.
A red card.
If we give a referee any ammunition then the game against
Another red.
Newcastle will be over before it started. Because you know one thing, they're going to play safety first football, hit us on the break, and they're going to be resolute in every way they play. Because the thing about Newcastle, they're a sly team. They're what I call a sly team.
Bro, if we get another red card, Kenny, if we get another red card from now until the Chelsea game, the next 3 games, I'm telling you, I officially believe the referees are against us, and we will never goddamn win anything because they are against us.
Yeah, but if you believe that,
if we do get another red card, that would mean we would have gotten a red card.
All right.
Three games.
Two things, right? Two things you do. If I agree with you and said, yeah, referees are watching everything we do, then it's about not giving ammunition and keeping 11 men on the pitch, because that's St James's Park, where the way Newcastle play, you've got to keep 11 men on the pitch. Liverpool, I'm afraid, I'm going for a point, not because of us, because I think, as I described Liverpool, it's going to be safety first. Make sure that they don't lose. And I think it's going to be very difficult to break team. It'll be a stalemate. I'm talking 1-1, and don't be surprised if there's a 0-0. Chelsea, so Newcastle, if we can catch them cold, we win, but it'll only be 1 goal in it. Chelsea will play it in their hands. They with the players they have, with there's 2 sets of wingers. They got Sancho, Madueke, Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, who just reminds me of a young Didier Drogba before he got his act together at Chelsea. Because remember when Didier Drogba was at Chelsea, he was like playing like Nicholas Jackson, and then he got his act together and he became deadly. That's how I think Nicholas Jackson's going to go. But I think Chelsea fans are only going to demand that they come at us. That is our best chance to be compact and hit them on the break and nick something. So I'm going to say 7 points. I really do think it'll happen.
I would love 7. I would love 9.
Depends on us. If we give referees ammunition, know full well that they're not on our side, then we only got ourselves to blame. It's no good waiting for Dermot Gallagher to go, oh yeah, I think the referee was right or wrong, or Jamie Carragher to start squeaking and spitting at the TV and so is injustice his last one. Who cares? The game's done. We've lost already. So if you give referees ammunition, then it serves you right.
I agree. We can't do that. No more red cards, man. Listen, last super chat and we're closing. This is from Netweed. It says, why can proper fans see squad depth and injury issues and amazing Arteta over 5 seasons cannot? The summer transfer window has clearly broken him. Big up to you, Netweed. I hope you're well, my bro. This is going to redirect you over to Northside, who's going to be ranting because they've just gone 2-0 down, Benfica, to Feyenoord, which is never good. So go and say Dan Potts raid. Go and raid him. He sent some love over here earlier, so make sure you do that. This will redirect you. Make sure you're following Gal and Kenny as well, and hit the like.
One more thing, sorry, Dan, one more thing. I will say one thing, right? This is audition time. This week has been audition time for strikers you think we're going to get. Goshres scored yesterday.
Yep.
And today we're watching Sesko play right now once we get off here. So I'm just asking all of the fans on the panel and also the fans in the chat, get your scatting heads on. So we need to see what this.
I already know. I want Gyökeres, not Sesko. I want Gyökeres.
Yeah, but our manager went after Sesko, so we need to have a look at this game because they're 1-0 down Leipzig. And let's analyse Sesko's performance. Let's be football connoisseurs today.
Let's do it. Big up to all of you. Big up to Kenny. Make sure you're following Kenny on Instagram. Of course, make sure you're following the Gals Talks Football on TikTok, YouTube, and all social media platforms. And make sure you've liked and subscribed to this one, man. We're nearly at 30k people. Let's get there. Let's make sure we're there. Hit the like and the subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy, people. Oh, and go and raid Northside. Big up.